Eurovision greetings, welcome back to my channel once again. And in the previous video I talked about the overall perspective I had of this year's Eurovision and of course my thoughts of the first semi-final. Now I'm here to talk about the second semi-final. I will follow the same criteria. And I'll start off with the countries that for me were top 5. I would definitely vote for them, or even if I wouldn't, they were the biggest surprises for me. And in this case I put in first place Slovenia. You know, Slovenia, for the first time I heard it, was just an okay good song, but then from the second time I heard it, it was a grower, and I was always excited to see Slovenia, definitely in my top 3. And when I saw it on stage, I was like, yeah, those are my boys. I think they are super charismatic and they brought so much fun on stage and like carefree. So I like the fact that they were there performing their song, beautifully sang, and the interpretation was also great. The chemistry between the elements of the band was there, so congratulations, and they did it. They were the last country to be announced. I was like, oh, what is gonna happen? Come on, they cannot be left out, and they were through. So I was really happy for them. My second place has to go to Australia, because I think, first of all, closing the show was great for them. They were really close to my top 3 before the live shows, and they just did it. It was a country that brought so much energy on stage, rock and roll, and you know, another band that is there, you know, for so many years. And I just felt that everything worked, you know, all the performance, the car, then the solo guitar. I mean, the guy behind him, I don't know if he was live or not, or if it was a playback. Please do tell me, because I got confused. But even if it was a playback, I'm sure that he will be able to deliver that live. I'd prefer to see it live, of course, but everything just worked for me. I was so happy to see them, so congratulations. Third place, that's a surprise for me, because it was a song that it was not on my radar, but after the live performance I was like, okay, I liked you more now than before, and that is Armenia. Future Lover and Brunette. I mean, Brunette was great on stage, and with a song like that, there was a lot to explore. And I think that I liked what they did with the ramp and all the animation. I just felt that she was with the right staging for that song, and the vocals are great, so I was really concentrated, I was really focused on what she was doing. So yeah, she caught my attention. Fourth place for Georgia. That was for me, and I will talk about the results in a while, but that was for me the shocker. I never thought Georgia wouldn't qualify, just because even if she was a bit static on stage, yes, I can see that, but the power she gave, I mean, her voice, the way she was singing, she was feeling the song, you know. And yeah, I repeat myself, the voice, she was great. I mean, there was no flaws, or if there were, they were so little that for me it wouldn't influence the overall performance. So not seeing her go through really hurt me. Not that Georgia was one of my favorites, but because I felt she deserved it. And yeah, the last time Georgia was in a Eurovision final was in 2016. So yeah, I mean, Portugal was also out of the final for 7 years in a row. So yeah, maybe Georgia could be one of the next winners, just like Portugal was when we came back to the finals. We'll never know, at least for now. And my fifth place, Estonia. Estonia was close to my top 10 before the live shows. It's a song that I really enjoy, and seeing her on the Eurovision stage, for me, that was a beautiful moment. First of all, I think she's beautiful. She was with a great blue outfit which fitted her perfectly. Then I enjoy the piano part where it seems like a ghost is playing it, and Alika was great. I mean, her vocals were stunning, and I think that she conveyed all the emotions. So Bridges is also a song that I like to play on Spotify because it's great, but live I think it becomes even better. So I loved it. That was my top 5 for this evening. Now, talking about the surprise of the evening and also my biggest disappointment, it's for me easier to talk about surprise in this semi-final. I'll go with Armenia, I think, because it was a song that, again, it was not even in my top 20, I think, or if it was at the end of the top 20. So I like this song more now, and I think it was a really surprise on stage, so that's why I'll give this position to Armenia. And about the disappointment of the night, it's quite hard. I could say Cyprus, because I think I was expecting him to be better. It's one of those cases where the audio track is amazing, but then live, you know, it lacks something, like with the Netherlands, but the Netherlands was much worse. Cyprus was great. I still love the entry. It was in my top 3 before the live shows, and as you know, if you saw my videos of my first reactions, I totally fell in love with this song the first time I heard it. I give it 9.5 out of 10. But here in the semi-final, I can tell you that I gave him 7.5, you know. So yeah, I mean, it was not his best, I think, but still solid enough to go through. So maybe I could say him, or even Austria. Austria was not a song that I really care about that much, if I'm being honest, but I think that the video clip and the audio track works better than the live version. There's something off. The dance moves, the LEDs, I think, are quite confusing sometimes. So I could also say Austria here, but you know, I think that with the first semi-final, we did have more disappointments, in this case with the Netherlands, which for me was the biggest one, than here in the second semi-final. Now the results. Yeah, I mean, as you also probably know, the second semi-final was the less competitive in theoretical terms, but honestly I think that I preferred some entries that I was not expecting to, and that felt like I was enjoying the semi-final. I'm not saying more, but in a different way. And also I didn't have the pressure here of having my country, Portugal, singing and performing. So we were already through to the final, so that was of course a plus for me to enjoy the second semi-final a bit more, I think, because there were no nerves for me. Even if I had, of course, some of my favorites that I wanted to go through, like Slovenia and Cyprus and Australia. Let's go. But talking about the results, I mean, I think that some of them were quite predictable, and I think that, yeah, if I would change something, I would definitely put Georgia in, because I don't think they deserve to be a non-qualifier. I wouldn't even put her behind Iceland. I think Iceland was okay on stage, but I think somehow she tried too hard sometimes, pushing her voice, so that's something that I don't really enjoy in the Icelandic entry. So yeah, I would put Georgia through, and I would replace it with probably with Albania. Yeah, I understand that Albania brought a traditional side once again to the Eurovision stage, but for me the song is not memorable enough, and I honestly think that, yeah, it's quite a bland entry, so I would much prefer to see Georgia, if I'm being honest with you. I was also not the biggest fan of the Belgium entry on stage. It felt a little bit too much and in your face, even if I enjoy Gustav's energy. But yeah, not saying it shouldn't go through, because even in the second semi-final, which was the weakest one, Belgium should have. I mean, of the non-qualifiers, Romania and San Marino both got 0 points, and I can see why. I mean, it just didn't work. Denmark also, I felt, even if somehow I thought it could qualify just because it's Denmark, now this is not quite right, because Denmark has failed to qualify recently, and at least in 2021 and 2022. But I don't know, something said to me maybe he will somehow get there, but no. Then Greece, I just thought he was too Yeah, it was he was too young for this experience, I think. I'm not talking only about his age, but also experience on stage. I just felt it was uncomfortable and trying not to be, but from this perspective, it was a little bit awkward sometimes, I think. And yes, I talked also about Georgia and Iceland for the non-qualifiers. Then yes, I mean, Lithuania was great. Also, Poland was good enough, because if we talk about her performances in the pre-parties, and that was a trouble, but here she solved some of those problems. And yes, I think I talked about all of them. Yeah, that's it for my tops, and we should have gone through and didn't. These are my thoughts about the second semi-final. Then I will make a review about what I thought happened in the grand final. So please stay tuned and come back with me for another video of Eurovision Greetings. Until then, bye!